Hey, just wanted to give an update. Today is the day before my mom's surgery, and for those of you who are watching the first time, my mom had colon cancer 2 years ago, and it spread to her liver, and the colon's been taken care of, but now the cancer's in her liver. So she has to have surgery tomorrow. The doctors called to let her know what time it was going to be at, and it's going to be at noon tomorrow. And so she has to have a very light diet today. It's like a liquid diet. For those of you who have had a colonoscopy, there's drugs that you take like Miralax, and you have to take the same drugs before you have liver surgery. I'm not entirely sure why, but they like you completely, cleaned out inside. So I wanted to see her before the surgery, and so I went over this morning and I sat with her for a while, and the cat that I used to have here that now lives at their house, because after I got sick he got used to being there, so I just let him stay there. He recognized me and he's sitting on the table. I was petting him for a while and talking to my mom and everything. Last time I saw her, she was walking without a walker, but now she's using a walker, and so I didn't realize that. So when she came into the kitchen with one, I just kind of was taken back just a little bit, but I knew she had one because she had to use one before. And it was weird, like we didn't talk about the surgery really. I mean, maybe towards the end, she said, well, I'll probably be in the hospital this many days, or whatever, but up until that point we were just talking about just general stuff. I mean, she feeds birds outside, and she talked about how for Halloween, after the pumpkins, the jack-o'-lanterns were done, like she cut those up and then she gave them to the squirrels and stuff like that. I guess what bothers me is there's something that her and I are feeling that we're not saying, and it doesn't mean that it's bad or that it's going to happen. It's just sometimes you know your parent very well, and sometimes you have a feeling about things, and what we're not saying to each other, because she doesn't want to upset me and I don't want to upset her, but just knowing someone your whole life, you know how people are. And when she had the colon surgery, it was very different. It was, I just want to get this over with. I just want to, get this taken care of and go on with my life. And there wasn't a lot of fear with it. It could have been denial at that point. I mean, I don't know. It was so new to her. But it was different. I can't convey it to anyone outside of because you don't know my mom. So it's kind of hard. It was a different feel to it, and she's like, I'm just going to get through this, and then I'm going to do this, and she did, and she went through it. And this time she's more nervous about it. I think she knows that her body is a lot weaker than it was the last time that she had surgery. And there's been like these things, like she'll say to me, she's like, well, I'm going to send you something. I want you to know where all the bank accounts are. We have a safe here, but I want you and your sister to know, what bank's accounts we have. And that was the starting of it. And then the other day she said, I'm going to send you, which she didn't send it because I picked it up today, actually. I said, well, I'll just pick it up when I go over. She said, well, I'll send you 2 checks, and you can deposit that in your account so you'll have some extra money, in case you need something. But at the same time, I'm not really going to need anything. And then she said, well, here's my credit card, and I want you to go and take X amount out off my credit card while I'm in the hospital, and then, so you'll be able to have something. And so I'm like, okay, it's not like I have any outstanding bills, really. I mean, pretty poor, but it made me think of a story she told me. My mom had a husband before my father. Excuse me. I keep trying not to clear my throat during these videos, people, but it keeps happening. So she had a first husband, and when he died, her lawyer told her, I don't think she was working at that time, and so all his money was in his name, but back then husbands took care of their wives. So she was told, take his credit cards, his ATM, and drain them, because as soon as the death certificate gets out there, they're going to freeze all the assets. And so I remember the story, and then she tells me, well, here's my credit card. Now, the credit card she gave me actually kind of has a high limit on it. And so it's almost unspoken. I don't know if that's what she's thinking of, if I'm reading too much into it, but I almost feel as if something happens to me, drain the card, because the life insurance policy will take care of it, but all this money will be in probate, and she won't be able to, help, me with things. But then, she said to me, well, I'm nervous about the surgery. I think things will be okay. But it's different this time. It's a different feel to it. It's concerning. And I still think that she'll be okay. I think she thinks she'll be okay, but I just think there's more of a risk this time. She also expressed a concern to me where she was worried that they're going to get in there and see more cancer than what they saw before. Which makes sense, because when she was originally diagnosed with colon cancer, they said it was only stage 1. And then when they did surgery, it was stage 3. And then shortly after they did the pathology report, it was stage 4. And because it had spread to the liver and it had infected several lymph glands. And so that could be where she's coming from with that. But also these scans that she's had before the surgery coming up, her pancreas looks weird. And like, she hasn't said a whole lot about that, but maybe it has spread to the pancreas. And I don't know, it was just weird today. I mean, I was glad to see her, and I made sure, I told my father, I said, well, move her walker out of the way, I want to give her a hug goodbye before I left. And she hugged me, and she's like, well, I love you, and I said, I love you too. And and then I called her later on the phone anyway. We talked for like an hour on the phone. And she's like, well, I really appreciate you coming over. I love you so much. I'm like, I love you too, Mom. And, my sister is going to go tomorrow morning. Well, my father, too. But my sister's going to meet her over there. And, she has to be there, I think, at like 10-something in the morning. And the surgery technically is at 11:50. So about noon, she'll have it. She doesn't know how long the surgery is supposed to take. But my father is supposed to call me and let me know how everything goes. She's going to call to give me her number when she has one. I'm assuming that, she might be in intensive care for the first day or so. And I told her, I said, well, I'm not going to call you until, you are ready to talk. I mean, you call me first, you give me the information, then I'll call you and everything. Because I don't want to bother her. I know she needs to sleep a lot and, whatever. I've read a lot about liver surgery on the internet. I know what can go wrong. I know that thankfully now in 2011 the risk is a lot lower than what it used to be, but she's just not strong right now. Physically she's not strong, and it's just hard. But I think that she'll be okay and everything, and I will update you once I know. I think that after the surgery it's you can get through it and be fine, and then something can happen within the first 48 hours, usually, like, hemorrhage or something with the bile ducts can go wrong and things like that. And I don't know, like, I'm really hoping for the best. I hope for her that this will be it. I mean, she's gone through so much, and so hopefully it's not in the pancreas now, because once it's in the pancreas, it can be just, there's not a whole lot people can do. And, they always check her lungs, because colon cancer can spread to your lungs, and stuff like that. For myself, I gotta be honest, watching what she has gone through for the past 2 years, and seeing how she lives a lot of times, even though she still can do things. If it was me, if I went tomorrow and they told me I had the same stage that she had, and that I could get better and I could just do chemo and surgery, I don't know if I would do it. Maybe I would. I don't know. I feel as if I would just... life is so precious to everyone, and it is to me too. I don't want to go anywhere. I mean, don't have the best life, but I don't have the worst life, and I hope that things get better for me and for everyone out there, but I don't know if I would hold on to the very last straw of it. I mean, let's face it, 100 years from now, you who's watching me right now and me, we're all going to be dead. I mean, we're going to be dead eventually, right? So I don't know if suffering and being all scarred up and having tubes and having all this medication and not living but not living is worth it. I don't know what I would do. I may just ask for pain control for when it gets bad. I know everyone around me would be like, oh, you should get it fixed. But I don't know. I mean, we're all trained to think that we should get better. But it's not always... I don't know how to say it. It's just some things are worse than dying. Sometimes dying's okay. There's people in tremendous pain in this world, tremendous, just horrible illnesses that they deal with, and you fight, and it's good. I mean, you learn so much from fighting. I mean, I know for myself, with what I've gone through, I've learned so much, and I'm grateful for all that. And if it can be a teaching process, fine, but if it's just going to be a process where I'm going to linger, I don't want to linger. I don't want to suffer more than I have to suffer. I don't think anyone should have to. I mean, so many times I read, since my mom's had cancer, I've read online, people say, I got to stay alive for my children. Who will take care of my children? And I so understand that. I can get into that headspace. But at what cost? I mean, are you really going to lay there and suffer? That's not having a good parent. Not that there would be a bad parent for staying alive. It's just, when we're, I don't know how to say it, just when we're younger and in high school, we're lucky. We don't think about these things. And you get a little bit older and like your family members get sick, or maybe you get sick. And it's just a different viewpoint on what I'd want. If they told me tomorrow, like, well, we have to, cut your arm off and cut both your legs off, but you'll be fine after that. And there's so many people that have that have been in wars and they've lost it and they're okay with it, or at least they seem to be okay with it. I'm someone that I know personally I would never be okay with it. So would I do it? And I probably wouldn't. And I don't know if that's just anxiety, if it's just a personal philosophy, but there's just certain things that I know I won't do, and there's a reason behind it. It's like I just don't want to. Maybe I know from the internet, and I know that maybe a lot of you do too. I read the comments on news articles. I go to websites. I know the comments that I get. I know the comments that people tell me they get. I know how hateful this world really is. I know how judgmental, how ignorant, uninformed people are. And I know to your face, they'll probably be nice to you. But I just don't want to... I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I think that my view of people, there's some really nice people, but if you go around the internet enough, where people are behind an anonymous mask and they say what they really feel, it's frightening. And so I know that if something bad was to happen to me, there'd be some good people, but I would know the thoughts behind a lot of others. If people can say to me online that they hate me and they hope my mother dies of cancer, it's just a darkness that's in them. And I think a lot of people have it. I think it's like not uncommon that people are thinking this. They just have the balls to say it. So that just concerns me. But anyway, I'm rambling. I've gotten way off track. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. But I will update you all. As tomorrow, I'll try to update you tomorrow. Once I know more. And then we'll just go from there. And see what happens and what takes place, and then, if I sleep tonight or not, or, whatever. So, positive note, I guess. I'm tired of complaining all the time. If you haven't seen the movie Black Swan, I found it was good. Be in a good headspace, to watch it, but I loved it. I absolutely love that movie, and I don't say that often. I watch movies all the time, like they're good, like, the movie Easy A. Pretty good. I liked it a lot. It made me laugh, But something about Black Swan, it was just really, really, really good. Allow yourself, if you watch it, to really go into the movie and don't get distracted, like try just to be in her state of mind. And it's just, I thought it was amazing. I thought that Natalie Portman did an amazing job with that film, and she deserved the award that she got. So, all right, well, enough positive Hollywood talk for now. All right, I'll talk to you all later. Have a good day. Whatever. But up until that point, we were just talking about just general stuff. I mean, she feeds birds outside, and she talked about how for Halloween, after the pumpkins, the jack-o'-lanterns were done, like she cut those up and then she gave them to the squirrels and stuff like that. I guess what bothers me is there's something that her and I are feeling that we're not saying. And hey, just wanted to give an update. Today is the day before my mom's surgery. And for those of you who are watching the first time, my mom had colon cancer 2 years ago, and it spread to her liver. And the colon's been taken care of, but now the cancer's in her liver. So she has to have surgery tomorrow. The doctors called to let her know what time it was going to be at, and I saw her, she was walking without a walker, but now she's using a walker. And so I didn't realize that, so when she came into the kitchen with one, I just kind of was taken back just a little bit, but I knew she had one because she had to use one, before. And it was weird, like we didn't talk about the surgery, really. I mean, maybe towards the end, she said, well, I'll probably be in the hospital this many days, or completely, cleaned out inside. So I wanted to see her before the surgery, and so I went over this morning and I sat with her for a while. And the cat that I used to have here, that now lives at their house, because after I got sick, he got used to being there, so I just let him, stay there. He recognized me, and he's sitting on the table. I was petting him for a while and, talking to my mom and everything. Last time I'd be at noon tomorrow, and so she has to have a very light diet today, just like a liquid diet. For those of you who have had a colonoscopy, there's drugs that you take like Miralax, and you have to take the same drugs before you have liver surgery. I'm not entirely sure why, but they like you